Howdy, howdy.
Here we are. Welcome. Hi.
Welcome.
Podcast. All the hearts in chat.
Hey, Katie. Hey, Mom.
Welcome, everybody, to SplitsQueen, our weekly gaming and gay podcast about all the stuff you want to know about video games and then, other stuff, too. Everything. All the stuff in an hour. My name is PittInjury. I'm here on the bottom, down here. Up top, we have FullOnPanic. Welcome. How's it going?
It's going good. Yes. I hope you're asking me, not the audience, because they can't really respond.
They can within a certain amount of time.
Well, yes.
You're the most direct response right now.
There we go. I'm doing good. I'm doing great.
Did you finish Demon's Souls yet?
No, I've got probably one more session left.
Oh, okay.
I've beaten all 4 archstones except for one. There's 5 archstones or worlds. I've beaten 4 of them. Okay. All on stream, all with maximum frustration, but it's been wonderful.
Maximum frustration. Do you find that Demon's Souls... is Demon's Souls ever really finished?
That's a great question. It usually takes multiple playthroughs to see everything, because in Demon's Souls there's this weird mechanic that I still don't fully understand called world tendency and character tendency, and the more you die if you're in human form versus when you're not in human form affects it. And so you can only see certain things if you're in pure white or pure black tendency. So it's not really possible to see everything, I think, in the first playthrough, because it depends on whether or not you are how many times you've died. So like if you can get through all the worlds without dying, which who can do that in human form, then you could see everything in white tendency, but you'll miss everything in black tendency, and vice versa.
So is that a similar mechanic to what happens in Bloodborne?
Not really, no. Because this is in play from the very beginning. I can't think of anything in Bloodborne that really reflects that.
They have like 10 world tendencies for other Souls games too, right?
Not to this degree, and not like this. Not so much like this. In other games, there's behind the scenes systems where your soul level and how many times you've invaded and stuff has to do with things. But this is specifically affects whether or not certain characters are in the world or whether or not certain paths are open and that sort of thing.
Oh, okay. So more involved than just how much you're going to get invaded or not. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I'm loving it. It's probably my favorite launch game of any console I've ever played, because it feels so... First off, it was already a really good, complete game, huge game. But the fact that Blue Point knocked it out of the park as hard as they did, it just feels like something we would have gotten usually 2 years into a console versus on launch.
And did you play it? Have you played this game before?
I did, but I totally forgot everything about it. Okay. So it feels like I'm playing it for the first time. They say that...
That's the best feeling.
Oh yeah, totally. They say that a good remake should feel like you remember it, or it should be like you remember it, and that's the case here. But I don't remember anything. I remember certain bits and pieces, but it's like playing a new game to me.
Yeah, that's better too, especially since you're doing it on.
Whoa!
Ooh, look at me.
What happened?
I don't know.
That is the coolest. I think it's on my side. That's weird. That was cool. That was a cool effect.
It was just kind of artifacting.
For those listening and not watching, Pitt just went invisible except for his eyeballs and his mouth.
I got the Thanos snap, but it only snapped half my body.
Oh no.
See, now, and then this side of the screen is all...
That's really strange. Because all of that is coming through that website. I wonder.
Yeah. But I checked the...
You went to the dark side.
The screen looks fine. On OBS Ninja, the screen looks okay.
Yeah. Here, let me try something.
It's painted now.
Boop, boop. There we go.
Okay. That was crazy.
In any way, moving on.
I went to the dark side. I got taken away. What else have you been playing this week?
So I used to have this addiction that I didn't talk about with a lot of people, because not that I'm embarrassed, not that it's
What?
So I used to play Destiny a lot. Every night a lot. Every raid a lot. And then this expansion, I decided, you know what? I haven't played it in a couple months. I don't need to get the expansion. And then, of course, Bobby Mark was like, hey, do you play Destiny? Because I was kind of thinking, I was like, yes, let's do it.
Oh, my God.
So now, with that crew, I've been playing a lot of Destiny.
Nice.
Which it feels like the new expansion for Destiny just feels like Destiny, which is good and bad. Like, it hasn't really grown a lot in like the 3 years or so that Destiny 2 has been around. I guess that's maybe being unfair. There's a lot of new, different stuff, but it all just feels like small iterations overall instead of like a new game. But the new next gen console update comes this week, so that's going to feel different because right now it's 30 frames, and honestly, going back to playing a console game in 30 frames feels really gross. It doesn't feel good.
You can tell right away.
Immediately. And I used to be one of those people that's like, it's not that big a deal. I'd rather have it be a fun game and be 30 frames than 60 frames in hollow. But no, it definitely makes a difference the more you get used to it.
I downloaded Destiny 2 on Xbox One because it's on Game Pass, all of the expansions. So I did all of those, and just going back to 30, and I like you, I had never been like that either, but going back to 30 frames, 30 to 60 is a big jump. 60 to like 90 and 120, I'm sure there is a significant difference there too, but to me, it's not as bad as 30 to 60.
I think though, isn't there like a certain limit that your eyeball can see or whatever? Like you can only see a certain amount of frames. There's people that say, I can tell the difference between 120 and 90 or whatever, but I can't. I don't think I can. But then again, I'm also a person who, like I said, didn't think 60 was a big deal, and now it's a big deal. It's a huge deal.
So, it is what it is, and hopefully, since you're getting the next gen update, that'll look better for Destiny. And
what they really need to fix in it though is the loading times for the menus, because I've played it on PC and they're instant. But when you try to load it on console, it takes a good 5 seconds to get in your menu, which doesn't seem like a ton. I mean, it takes a while, but it seems like you could live with that. But if you're in the middle of a firefight and you need to change guns or whatever, it can mean life or death.
Right. So how long with this crew, how long do you think it'll take for you to be raid ready?
It's leveling up a lot faster than the previous expansions.
Okay.
Almost everything I get is an increase in light level. And
nice.
Everybody was brought to the same playing field of 1050, I think it is. I remember when this game came out, getting to 100 light was huge. So I've seen it grow over the time to now everybody starts at 1050. Yeah. But that also means that all of the stuff that you've worked for the last 2.5 years is just, it has a cap on it, so you can't take it to the end of the game. So it's kind of forcing you to shake everything up and try different things.
Right. I feel like too that World of Warcraft has done very similar things as well. I mean, they increase their level cap every time, but apparently now everyone starts at 50. I think that because the level cap before this was 120. So it's just numbers, it's just
my power
a numbers
thing
after that. Yeah. So they squished everyone down back to 50, and then everyone starts at 50, I think, is what I've gathered, but I don't actually know. It's
kind of the problem with these long-running games as a service, that how do you keep people engaged and how do you get new players to come in and not feel like, man, I've got literally 150 hours to catch up.
Right.
Final Fantasy 14 just cleaned up a lot of their main story quest for Realm Reborn, which was the second release of the game after the failed first release. Realm Reborn is Realm Reborn is basically the beginning of the story, and the story for Final Fantasy 14 is super deep and complex and intricate. But they took some of the main story quests out that were kind of fetch questy and just filler, but it's still a super long process to go from a level 0 character to whatever you've got now. Now you can buy things that will boost you, but you won't know what's going on. You won't have the ability to grow with your character. And that's kind of the thing with that game is that, and I'm going on a tangent here, but there's all these different jobs that have different levels for them, and you could be literally anything you want in this game, but if you boost something to be I want to start at level 60 or whatever, knowing how all of these things, all these actions that you can do as that character tie together, because they are very specific to each character, to each job, almost makes it not worth it. Like if you don't know
Yeah.
that stuff, you're not going to be really good at that stuff unless you've like gone on YouTube and gone through a huge deep dive on that job.
So
And if you're going to
luckily
do
for
that,
Destiny, yeah, luckily for Destiny 2 as well, like you don't have to have that much experience with your abilities, etc., because it's mostly a first-person shooter. So like your shooter mechanics and your shooter abilities really play into that.
Yeah.
And then going into chat, Count Jacula says, "I'm currently playing New Light. Would you say it's worth it to buy the expansions for Destiny 2?"
I think New Light is like the New Light, isn't that the like the free version of Destiny 2? I think
so.
all you need to do is get the latest expansion and you get everything before that. I could be wrong about that because I've had every expansion up to this. Okay, that's the free to play. If you're having a good time and you see yourself continuing to play it, I would say yes, it's worth it because there are specific exotics and stuff that are tied to the expansions that you can't get in New Light. It depends. Your mileage may vary with this game. If you're playing it and you're loving it and you see yourself playing a lot more of it and you get into a clan and you want to have like weekly raids and stuff like that, absolutely it's worth it. But if it's something that you jump into and play a couple Crucible matches or whatever, and it's not, you don't feel like it's going to stay around, probably not. I think it's free to play. Their model for free to play is literally just like we're going to try to get people hooked enough that they get into the rest of it. I mean,
Right.
I guess that's how they would want to do it anyway, but
Right.
yeah, I think the free to play model is specifically, it's enough of the game that you can play it and be happy, but if you want to go further with it and actually do some raid content with other people, you're going to have to shell out. Raid content, by the way, is like they're not a huge percentage of people actually go that far and play that because you can't matchmake for it. You have to bring in a team of people and that sort of thing. And they are like puzzle heavy mechanics and stuff. So I think by that point, if you're looking to raid, you probably already have the expansion.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like you were saying too, it's based off of if you know people that you play with. If you have friends that play it with you on the console that you're playing with, then obviously you want to play with them too. So it's like you were saying, it is that ecosystem and that culture of, how many people am I playing? How many friends do I have that have this?
Mm-hmm.
All that kind of stuff too. So
I mean,
there's a
yeah,
lot
you get
to
the free to
consider.
play, you play a couple of matches or you play a couple of missions with friends that you either met through the game or that asked you to pick that up. You're more likely to get the expansion to keep playing with them. It's a smart model.
Yeah, I think they're doing well. I think. Do you think they're ready for like a Destiny 3?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. With new consoles out, it seems like the right time to do that. Shake it up, maybe add ship combat or something we've been asking for like 5 years.
Yeah, I think too that their software. I know they've cleaned up the software that the game engine that they've been using this whole time, and that the Destiny 1 engine was really chunky.
Yep.
So hopefully they can start either from scratch or slim that down to make sure that everything's running as optimally as possible for a new game. But it's been going for a while,
Yeah, that's the thing
I think it's
that's
time.
surprising to me that they haven't gone for that next numeral. Like it's all Destiny 2. It's the first of its kind in a bunch of ways, being like a first person shooter sort of massive multiplayer game. And I'm surprised that like other games have tried to do stuff like this, like Anthem. And we all know where BioWare kind of is now. Like they weren't able to pull that off in any specific like. There was a lot of launch problems with Anthem, but like probably the biggest one was that nobody understood what that game was going to be when it first came out, and it turned out like, oh, this is a Destiny like that doesn't do nearly as many cool things.
Have you played Anthem before?
I have a very like hate relationship with that game. There's no love.
I did. Yeah. So I played it And I going into it knowing that it was a BioWare game with like Mass Effect 3 mechanics to the shooting and all that stuff. I personally don't think it even plays well.
So here's my story with Anthem. I pre-ordered that because I was really excited. BioWare, by that point, had a lot of clout with me. I thought the Mass Effect trilogy was incredible. What's
I also
this?
pre-ordered it.
Yes. Okay. So you're with me on that.
Yep.
So I pre-ordered it. I was so excited. I load the game and I couldn't get into the game. I couldn't actually like get in to like create the thing. The launch problems for this game were so bad that I could not actually play it for the first 2 weeks. I could get in sometimes. I would get booted almost every time as soon as I like started a mission, or when I tried to finish the first mission, I would automatically get booted to, I guess, their splash screen. It kept going on, so I uninstalled the game and tried it a month later. It happened then again, so I uninstalled it and I tried it like 2 months later. And by that point, all of like everybody was like done with the game. Nobody wanted to keep playing it. And I was able to finally get in and actually do missions and stuff, but the worlds were empty. There was nothing going on. I didn't like by that point I'm so frustrated with the game that I didn't care about anything that was happening in it. The story didn't land for me. I probably played like an hour and a half total of this game that I was looking forward to for a year and a half that I pre-ordered that I couldn't play on launch. That was just it was a catastrophe. Like,
isn't that awful? That's just like the saddest story.
It's probably game, my biggest headache with any launch ever.
Ugh, that's awful. And for BioWare to like understand that that's going on and trying to fix it, just the whole thing, man. I don't think that game's coming back.
I mean, BioWare hasn't had any really good news happen for them lately.
No, we do have a news article on BioWare. We'll get to that in just a little bit, but yeah, it's just it's not good. It's not looking good over there, honestly.
Right.
After they sold to EA. Before we do news, I have a little story that happened to me last night.
Ooh.
So I was playing. I've been playing Dead by Daylight. Here and there. I'm
a gay playing Dead by Daylight. Oh my God, you're groundbreaking.
Exactly. So I've been playing Dead by Daylight a little bit. I'm like rank 9 survivor and then like rank 15 killer. So I was playing some killer matches, like very just casually. I was matched with a lot of low rank players, so I was unfairly getting a lot of hooks and sacrifices with these low rank people that were running into me and not knowing what to do.
Oh no.
So I load into a match and I look at the names of the players in this match. 2 of them have a TTV behind their screen name. And I'm like, oh shit. And then I recognize somebody I have played with because all of the people in that group was a Survive with Friends game. They were streaming, and I have played with some of them. And I was like, oh, shit.
I'm just murdering the hell out of them.
So I dropped the game. I just quit before we started because I got nervous. I was like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be
No.
I know. I was like, no, thanks. Because I also, I was like, I just don't want to deal with this right now. So I left. But I didn't check the VOD. I hadn't checked their VOD. I'm not going to say who it is, but I didn't check their VOD either. I didn't want them to be like, PittInjury, why did you quit?
You're giving yourself a bad name.
I was playing Bubba, so like he's not really, or the Cannibal, which is Texas Chainsaw Massacre, right?
Yeah. Well, they also have Leatherface in the game, so they have the Cannibal, but then they've also got, he basically runs around with a chainsaw. Both of them do. There's
like 2 characters with chainsaws. I knew I wasn't going to find them very easily because I didn't, other than barbecue and chili, which after you hook somebody you can find them. I was like, they're just gonna run me around the map, they're gonna finish these gens, and I'm gonna look like an idiot. So I was like, I don't need that in my life right now. It's already midnight. I'm tired. So I went on to Slime Rancher. because I have that.
Oh God, I love that
I
game.
started that. I had originally I had like one corral with a few pink slimes. I didn't really know what to do either. I was like, what am I collecting? So I started collecting a
So
bunch of
explain for people what
slimes.
Slime Rancher is before you start getting into the nitty gritty
Yes.
here.
There we go. I didn't even explain Dead by Daylight, but good luck figuring out what I just said for the
Yeah.
past 2 minutes. So Slime Rancher is a first-person, I would say like farming simulator, where you go out into the wild. You're on an alien planet. You go out into the wild collecting these like orb-like creatures or slimes. They have different types. You're using like a vacuum to suck them up and then spit them out into your home. You can feed them and they will Nickelodeon simulator. Oh, slime time. No, Katie. You can feed them various fruits and vegetables and meat, and they will poop out money, basically. So
You basically sell their poop for money.
You sell their poop for money. Or you can feed poop from one type to another to make it bigger. And I was like, I didn't understand that mechanic. I had to talk to I was like messaging C-Dub at night, asking him like, what the heck is going on? So I had a bunch of slimes of just, I was like, I didn't know in the beginning. I don't know why. I don't think it teaches you. I didn't know in the beginning, you're not supposed to collect all the slimes. So I was just going back and forth collecting pink slimes, rock slimes, tabby slimes, all of it, just bringing them into my home, trying to fit them in one corral.
Chaos.
So I fit them in one corral, and I just fed them or whatever. I couldn't get the poop, the plorts, because they were all. It's like a ball pit of slimes in this corral. So then, when you feed, like I was saying, when you feed one type of plort to another, it turns into a mixture of two of them.
Mm-hmm.
But if you feed a third type of plort to that big one, it turns into like a tar slime or like an evil slime. And that slime will start attacking and eating other slimes that aren't converted yet. So I've collected all of these slimes, put them in my ball pit of one corral because that's all I had money for. They start growing because they're eating each other's poop. When they grow, they basically expand very quickly, which shoots other slimes out of the pit.
Oh
so
my
I'm
God.
spending time collecting the slimes and shooting them back into my tiny corral. Just keep shooting them back in. All of a sudden, I see a tar slime pop up, and I didn't know that how
those
to get
existed
those
or what
slimes.
those were. Yep.
So I see a tar slime pop up and I'm like, what is that? I didn't collect that. I see another one. I see another one. I see 10 more. I see 15 more. They start raining in from the sky. And I'm like, what is happening? It was the wildest. So I die because they attack you. So I die. All of the slimes that were on the outside of the corral were dead. Then I had a small collection of slimes inside. Then they started turning into tar. They all ate each other. And then I had nothing left. And I was like, what is this game? it was the wildest.
It's slime concentration camp. That's what it sounds like.
It was awful. So Sita gave me the gist of like the basic mechanics.
Yeah.
He said, grab some tabbies and some pinks, put them together. And I was like, perfect. So now I stayed up till like 2:00 fixing my ranch. It's a lot better now, but that whole ordeal, the DBD thing, and then the whole ordeal with the slimes, I was like, what is this game?
That game is cool because there's a huge like sort of open world. I mean, yes, you have to get through certain checkpoints or like find a certain item or build a certain extension for your gun that will let you get past places, but I really liked the feeling of that world and how dangerous everything can be, but like how cute it is at the same time. And the game mechanics are really deep for a game that doesn't look like it's going to be. And it reminds me kind of like Subnautica.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in that way. Like you don't realize when you first start playing it how deep that's going to get.
Mm-hmm. It's just that cutesy, that cutesy art style that really sucks you in, and then you're like, wait a second, what's going on here? But, Pitt dressing his ranch, cute and dangerous at the same time. So,
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, let's get into the news here.
Absolutely. So our first news article I put up is Oscar Isaac is to star as Solid Snake in the upcoming Metal Gear Solid movie.
I mean, this is cool if this happens, but here's the thing: how many times has Metal Gear the movie, like, how many times has that, been in the works or been confirmed? Because I feel like it's been 3 or 4 times over the last, I don't know how many years, that they've said, oh, we've got Metal Gear coming. Metal Gear Solid is going to happen. I mean, Metal Gear Solid, I don't know if you have a lot of history with that franchise, but that is one of my favorite game franchises of all time. Hideo Kojima is a genius, and he put so much love and care into each one of those entries that, like, the movie, if he's not involved, I don't know how that's going to, I really just don't know how that's going to come out. Even with a good actor like Isaac, I don't know. I'm nervous.
I think too, it's hard. And I had heard some discourse about how do you make a Metal Gear game into a movie, because it is so over the top. It does have fourth wall breaking elements. It does have, a lot of things that were, even to this day, still a marvel at Kojima's, creativity, his direction, stuff like that.
There's an example of his level of detail that I like to use in Metal Gear Solid 2. When you're playing as Raiden, spoiler alert, you don't play as Snake for most of the game. Oop. But when you're playing as Raiden, there's a spot, like, on this tanker in the kitchen where there's a bucket of ice, right? You can shoot the bucket of ice or, like, hit it with a knife or whatever and knock it over. And in real time, the ice that was in there melts in real time. So you can sit there and watch it for like 15 minutes and puddles will start to form and the ice actually shrinks. There's no reason for that to be there. There's no particular, like, there's no mechanic that needs you to, like, melt the ice, but it happens. This is the kind of stuff that he coded in. Like, the real time that it would take, and the pieces of ice that are closer to the other pieces of ice melt slower because it's colder.
That's crazy.
It's insane. Like, the amount of stuff that he throws into these games, or he threw, I guess, into these games because he's no longer with Konami. That's a whole ball of wax. But, like, that level of just detail to things that you only find if you're trying to spend more time in that world, that's the kind of reward that I think video games can give you that movies necessarily can't. Like, it's part of the reason why I gravitate more toward an interactive experience like a video game than I do any kind of media that you just watch.
Right. And we all know how much you love Marvel and their MCU.
Okay. Are you trying to bring this up?
No, I'm not trying to bring it up. It was just passing.
Yeah.
Do you, going back to this, do you have a favorite video game movie? I know video game movies have been notorious for not being great.
Yeah. Have I ever watched a video game movie and been like, man, I'm super happy I watched that? When I was a kid, I loved the Super Mario Brothers movie, but it's trash. Like, everybody agrees that that's a bad movie, but I've seen it so many times.
Right. I mean, the same could be said for, pick any video game movie. Mortal Kombat, Prince of Persia.
See, okay, Assassin's Mortal Kombat, Creed. Though, that hits, because I saw that in the theater and I was, like, into it. I had the
Mortal
soundtrack.
Has
yes,
like
I did.
Following, right?
Oh man, I loved that movie and the second one.
It's a cult following. The acting is not great, but you know.
So I don't know. I mean, like, the Monster Hunter movie just came out. Did you see the news about the Monster Hunter movie? I might be throwing you a curveball here. Okay, so Monster Hunter in China. They had to take it out of the theaters because there is a scene in Monster Hunter where one of the characters says, and I think he's Asian. I'm not sure. I haven't been following the movie that closely, but I think the Asian character says, "Do you know what kind of knees these are?" And the guy who's driving says, I don't know. And the guy goes, Chinese. And apparently that was enough to ban the movie in China unless they take the scene out.
No.
This is what I understand about the story. I mean, it seems like a really just like off-color, really stupid joke. Like, why would they even put that in there?
Yeah.
From what I understand, Mila Jovovich is in the Monster Hunter game, and she's like, or in the Monster Hunter movie, and she's like the queen of being in video game movies that don't actually follow the video game whatsoever, like the Resident Evil series, which they are rebooting, thankfully, and I'm into that. I just don't understand why they make video game movies that don't follow the video game whatsoever, like that. Like this Monster Hunter one is tied to the real world or something, and like. Yeah, I haven't been paying much attention, even though I love Monster Hunter, because I know it's another like complete departure.
Do you feel the same way about the the Nathan Drake one? The Nathan Drake one.
Nathan, like Uncharted?
Yes, Uncharted.
Well, that's been around. That's the rumors for Uncharted have been around forever and ever and ever.
But they have pictures now, you know, like. They have Tom Holland as Nathan Drake.
They should have had Nathan Fillion.
Yes.
Like when they had the opportunity and he was the right age back, 10 years ago when they were talking about this movie that time too. With this kind of stuff, I'll believe it when I see it. Like right now, I'm happy that people are getting excited for another Metal Gear rumor movie. I don't even know if this is a rumor, if it's confirmed, but still, like, it's been confirmed for so many times. Like, until we actually get a trailer with him in the role, I don't know.
Yeah, it's true.
I still think David, what's his last name? The guy who always voiced Snake, David Hayter. I still think that like he looks the part and could completely do the voice, obviously, because he's done it for 4 games. And then Kiefer Sutherland came in for Metal Gear 5 and took over his voice role.
Yes.
I mean, there's a whole stink around that, but like David Hayter is so multi-talented and is a big name in the video game industry for voice acting anyway. Right. Like he'd be a shoo-in for a good Snake, I think.
Yeah, there's a lot of good options. I feel like Oscar Isaac is a good option. He's a great actor in general. But the other part of it too is that Oscar Isaac has a lot of roles on his plate at the moment. He's going to be doing Moon Knight. He's doing some other thing too as well. I'm like, okay, well, I don't know his schedule for it, but hopefully he has time to do all that stuff. I mean, he wouldn't say yes to a role if he was already contractually obligated to something else. But
I mean, I don't know. I don't know the life of an actor. I would imagine that like he is in a position where he can pick and choose what he wants to do at this point.
Sure.
Like after Star Wars and after being like a pretty much household name at this point, he can say, I think Metal Gear is a good move for my career, or I think it's not. So if he is in on it, maybe the people that are putting it together have a really good package or something.
Let's hope. Sheesh. It's not BioWare, that's for sure.
No, not BioWare.
For BioWare, we have next news article. We have 2 executives who have left the company. Casey Hudson and Mark Dara both leave BioWare.
Oof.
Casey Hudson is one of the main faces of the company. So this is Casey Hudson. He had left the company earlier, a few years ago, and then came back as like the closer to help solidify some of the games that were coming out at the time, like Mass Effect Andromeda. But he's leaving, and then the other one, Mark Dara, are also leaving. BioWare has not put out a game,
since Anthem.
Since Anthem, and then Andromeda before that,
and both of those flopped.
Both of those
for different reasons, but
and Mark Dara is right here. So we're looking at a company who has not put out a good game in quite some time. The 2 new games, the new Mass Effect and then the new Dragon Age game that they're in development for, we have no news of whatsoever. Usually when executives like that leave a company, on a high note, that's okay. But for them to leave in the middle of production like this, it's also, to me, akin to the executives leaving for the Halo Infinite project as well.
Yeah. Mm.
You know?
Yeah.
What's going on in these companies?
Well, did either of them make a statement about why they were leaving, or did they just abruptly?
I don't think so yet. I haven't seen any statements from either of them.
That's also not a good sign, because if it's for a good reason, or if it's for like other opportunities, they've got that stuff. They've got the messaging for that on lock well ahead of time. But if there is strife in the company and they end up having to just go, that means that the company either has them under some kind of like weird NDA, or that they have to, and this is all speculation, I obviously don't know anything, but, or that like they have to backpedal and say, okay, well, we need to come up with a good message for this, because when somebody who's the head of something like Dragon Age 4 takes off, you have to be able to explain that. I mean, the way that the video game industry works, like hype is a moneymaker. Like, that's why things get announced so far ahead of time, because hype generates interest, and sometimes it's too much. Like Cyberpunk is, a lot of people are upset about Cyberpunk having so much lead time before it actually comes out. But I mean, Dragon Age 4, we have gotten very, very little information about, but we've known about it because of teaser trailers and because people have, talked about working on it. Unless something like that, unless they come forward and say like, oh, this, these people had better opportunities, or like, some good explanation, it makes it look like that project's in trouble.
Yeah. And just days before the Game Awards too,
Yeah.
Are they going to do they have a trailer to showcase or something to show for it? It's really troubling for that.
And what we're looking at right now is the official like behind the scenes trailer that was released, I think, like 3 months ago.
Yeah, a few months back.
So, I mean, it's obvious that they're working on Dragon Age 4, but for two people who were so instrumental in that game to leave without any real reason stated why, it's hard not to read into that as a negative for the franchise.
Yep. Fun fact about BioWare, the original founders of BioWare, they were all medical doctors in Canada, I think.
Is that why it's called BioWare? I never knew that. Yeah. That's really cool.
Yeah. And then there are a few like medical, like alien diseases that happen in Mass Effect, like especially in Mass Effect 1.
Oh, the genophage.
Mm-hmm. So all of that kind of stuff, in my opinion, originated from those founders as well. Some of the names of characters are like medically inclined as well, and so to me that was always like a really fascinating fun fact for BioWare.
I never knew
all
that.
of those people have left the company since selling to EA because make that money.
When did the EA sell happen?
We can check Google.
I just want to know if that coincides with like them falling off a cliff of quality. It's hard to imagine that the people who came up with KOTOR, Knights of the Old Republic, have kind of ended up here. The people who came out with the original Mass Effect trilogy have ended up here.
So in 2008, BioWare was acquired by EA. Mass Effect 3 came out in 2012.
Okay. So that was probably fully developed under the EA umbrella.
It was, and hence multiplayer, hence the loot crates.
Yep, I forgot about that shit.
Oh yeah. Mass Effect 3 was a decent game. I liked the multiplayer that they were fooling around with, but the rest of it, you could tell EA had their fingers on a lot of the development for that. I hope that BioWare can get back to its heyday of, Mass Effect, KOTOR, and Dragon Age, but
one never knows.
One never knows. There's a lot of other great game developers and companies that have been doing really awesome stuff. On top, speaking of which, Nintendo has been doing a really good job with their franchises. And for our next news article, Nintendo has also been creating a theme park land in Universal Japan. So Universal Studios in Orlando also has a Super Nintendo World land being developed, but the Japan one will be opening February of next year. And then I believe the delay for the Florida version is pretty significant. So we don't actually know how far that is. I put up two videos for that one. One of which was showcasing. So like, look at how small that land is. In the foreground, you can see the Harry Potter section of Universal.
Oh, let me back it up a little bit. This is in Japan, right?
Yeah. This is in Japan.
Okay, so down here, you can probably see my mouse on here a little bit.
Yeah,
down here is where the Harry Potter, like a Diagon Alley is.
Right. So, and then in the background, you can see it is just, so it's called Super Nintendo World.
But it looks very Mario, yeah.
The only franchise they're referring to is Mario. And there really isn't enough room for expansion on this in this area for them to say Nintendo, including like Zelda, Metroid, like any Smash characters.
But look at the animatronic. This looks so amazing.
Yeah,
it looks so amazing. You get the spinning coins, all of the animatronic, like the mushrooms and the turtles, the Koopa shells and stuff going everywhere. Like, it looks so cool. It also looks dangerous. Like somebody's gonna get hurt. Are you supposed to climb on this stuff? It doesn't look like it.
Oh, absolutely not. So these are going to be above where the guests are. So all of this stuff is to help give that illusion of being immersed into the Nintendo world. So we're looking at it from a really high near top down view of all of these things going on.
The fact that the coins are not synced up is really driving me nuts, though.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They have to be. I
love that you noticed that.
That's just that's not peak Mario.
You're right. So you can see there too, like those hills. Those hills are helping block some of the lower sight lines, because like you'd be standing under those trees in the foreground.
Oh my God! Look at Yoshi.
and
the Goomba Tower.
There's another video that I put up on our link. It showcases just a little bit of more B-roll after this one, more B-roll of the ride vehicles for Mario Kart, as well as just some of the queue area for that as well. They put a lot.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. They put
just a bunch of JavaScript errors in my Discord, because Discord's been doing that.
We love Discord. Thanks, Discord. They put a lot of thought, effort, and heart and soul really into what we're seeing here. So it's exciting to see. Oh, there's a lot. Wow.
Yeah, this is an 18-minute video that like showcases all the different parts of it. Mm-hmm.
It's exciting to see a theme park design like this one.
Really, you have a pretty extensive theme park background as a former character actor for an unnamed a company that doesn't sponsor us.
and I had been a theme park, like, I wouldn't say enthusiast, but at least knowledgeable of theme parks in general, design, sightline, theming. Like, I have been a fan of that for a while too. So just seeing a concept like this really be actualized and put out into something that's just really done really well. Like, it's really nice to see.
I guess there was a fire breaking out at the time that they were filming this in September.
So you can see too, like in this pan out, there are a lot of roller coasters and stuff on the outside of it, but nothing is enclosed. Nothing is really giving you that immersion that the Super Nintendo world is giving you.
Yeah.
I think there's only one entrance and exit into Super Nintendo World, and that's through a warp pipe, a bit like a big
out. That's tunnel. So cool.
Yeah. Just stuff like that.
Oh, there
like,
it is at night.
Yeah, it looks good. Well, they have a lot of the construction lights up there, so it's not going to be lit up like that, but it's going to look great.
So if you could have any video game franchise turned into a theme park, what would it be?
I would love to see them double down on Nintendo franchises. I would love to see a Pokemon area. I'd love to see a Zelda area, and I think they can get to that point here with this. And they're going to sell a lot of merchandise here for all of that. So as an example, in Tokyo Disneyland, in Japan, they sell out of their merchandise on a daily basis.
That's crazy.
To the point where you have to come early, rent a locker, and then shop first, put all of your shit in your locker, and then enjoy the park afterwards.
Wow.
Otherwise, if you go at the end of the day, the shelves will be clear of product.
That's crazy. David MCG says that the theme park that he'd want is Dark Souls.
What would happen in that theme park?
I mean, I can only imagine it would be like a really long line to get slaughtered by somebody.
Gosh.
I would love that, actually. I would love a Dark Souls themed
animatronics.
Well, so all right, so let's talk about that. Miyazaki, the guy who is responsible for Dark Souls, he's basically said that he doesn't like disgusting things. He likes beautifully terrifying things, if that makes sense. He wants it to be like a very like striking and haunting kind of experience, but he doesn't necessarily want gross factor. That's why there's not a lot of gore and stuff in those games usually.
Right. A little bit of blood, but no like dismemberment or
not. Yeah, exactly. Like it's not there to be shock factor in that way. It's that the game hits a lot harder because of the sense of isolation and desperation and the haunting nature of the bosses and the enemies and stuff.
You could do isolation in several different ways, but I think it is helpful to have a darker theme to it. You could do like a space where you're the only person around, right? But Devon's chat says underground poo areas.
Okay, so that's Demon Souls and Dark Souls have like these underground swampy areas. That's kind of a theme, actually. Dark Souls 2, I think, has a swamp area as well.
Chat says, Dark Souls ride, you wait in a long line, and when you reach the front, they tell you there's no ride to begin with. Katie says, I need a Dark Souls line queue where if you don't listen to an employee, you're tweeting to the back automatically like the game. Yeah. Oh, Kieran says Fall Guys water park. That would be cool.
Oh, that sounds really cool.
Chat. Yeah.
That actually is really cool. It might be a little. I'm concerned about the longevity of that series. I think that Fall Guys probably created a genre, but maybe they won't be the ones to hold on to it. But yeah, water park like that would be really cool.
It's kind of like a Wipeout situation. You kind of just have like an obstacle course with water in it and stuff. So yeah, it sounds quite plausible.
I know that Japan has had like Resident Evil style haunted houses around Halloween. I would love like a Raccoon City theme park with like zombies around and stuff. I would love something like that. Like and it's like only open at dusk. That would be so neat.
Nighttime only.
That would be so neat.
15,000 fog machines.
Yeah, exactly. But like a nemesis that just kind of like, stomps around there, and like I could see like Jill and Chris and even Wesker, like all the people like walking around in costume.
I would love that. That sounds pretty cool too. That sounds incredible. I think in a time like this, theme parks are a very hard sell at the moment.
Yeah,
large crowds, like. So I'm wondering, especially in Super Mario World like this, they have a virtual reality Mario Kart ride happening with this, and it's hard to. I mean, they're gonna have to clean all of those headsets. It's just, that kind of stuff is
even before COVID. Every time I went to PAX, they had VR that you could try out, and I was like, I'm not going to strap something onto my face and head that like literally 30 people today have put on their body.
Yeah,
that's like putting on somebody else's underwear. That like that's like trying on underwear at a department store. I know that sounded.
Panic. Somebody else could like that. We don't know.
No kink shame. But you don't try on the underwear at the department store.
Not normally, no. Not usually.
Not usually. Let me try the Speedo on real quick.
Gosh. So yeah, we have those were just like some of the short news articles that we had this week. I wanted to ask you. I don't know if you have you played The Last of Us Part 2?
I have.
There's one. So Panic is also on twitch.tv/FullOnPanic. And then I'm on twitch.tv/PittInjury. Panic is doing a community goal for an acoustic live set if you get to like 50,000 stars, I believe.
Yep. Which we're already like 30% of in one stream.
Like,
so it's
contribute,
definitely going to happen.
We want to see this. So I have a request for you to do. And I put it in the YouTube. I put a YouTube link to it. Mm-hmm. I'm sure you could do it. I'm going to give it to you on Discord too, just in case.
Okay.
But it was, so I have not finished The Last of Us Part 2.
Yes. Okay. So I feel like talking about the specific song that this is might be spoilery because it's such a cool moment in the game.
Yes.
So I'm not going to say what song it is, but this would be a great idea.
I loved this scene. I think it's, and again, I probably have only done half of it to the spoiler part, the beginning of the spoiler part. But this scene specifically hit me really hard. I just thought it was an amazingly well done. So if you would, I know you're probably doing like original music and stuff like that, but I would love to have you do this rendition of the song.
Okay.
I don't know if that's a possibility, but
absolutely. I remember thinking when I played through this game. So what we're talking about really is there's a huge theme about Ellie learning a specific skill, learning guitar from Joel, and it becoming like kind of a metaphor for their relationship. And at one point she Danny, you know what we're talking about. She sings a song. She sings a song that is absolutely like you don't expect to hear it in this game, and it just the way that they present it. I mean, the whole game is written incredibly well, but like this just hits hard. And the song is I can attempt to
perfect song choice. Just listening to it, because I didn't recognize it from the chord structure or anything. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, damn. Like,
I spent an embarrassingly long time playing the guitar in that game. I play guitar in real life. Like I'm a musician, and I've been playing guitar for like 30 years. And anytime I see guitar in video games, what's that? Oh yeah, that's right. What? I started when I was 1 year old. Baby calluses. I'll every time I see guitar in like a TV show or a video game, I'm always looking at the fingers to see like how accurate is this? Like, does it look like? I can say without a doubt that Last of Us 2 got guitar chord structure so correct that it really is like when they're playing a G chord, they're playing a G chord. Like the animations for the fingers are correct 100%, which is not something I've ever seen in a video game ever. Usually it's like a hand just moving around, or like they'll just do like what looks like chords, but it's not real. This is real. But I spent an embarrassingly long amount of time in that guitar mini game, just like because you can stroke. All right, I'm using a dual sense, but like there's this touch bar. All right. You can stroke the strings.
Too spicy today, sorry.
Too spicy. You can stroke the strings, or if you know where to tap, you'll tap one of the strings in there. So you can actually get to the point where you're picking out individual melodies and stuff while you're strumming. It's really in depth. I'm surprised that they got as in depth with the guitar as they did in that, but hell yeah, I love that part.
Katie in chat says Ashley Johnson, who plays Ellie in The Last of Us, both 1 and 2, plays guitar, and I think they mocapped her playing it.
Oh, interesting.
I think so too.
They would have had to have like dots on every knuckle. Mm-hmm. I mean, that seems like an incredibly hard thing to animate, like,
right.
But it's funny because like she shifts between chords correctly too. It's like if you go between like an F and an A chord, it's gonna look a little bit different than if you go from like a G to a D chord. Like different stuff has to happen.
I think too with Naughty Dog, they knew that people like yourself would be looking for those types of things.
Yeah.
Especially if they were going to put in this guitar mini game to the game, which has no consequence to the rest of the game other than for you to just play guitar. I think they had to do it right.
You haven't finished it, have you?
I have not.
There's a guitar mini boss at the end that you have to beat or you die. I'm just kidding.
I bet. I was like, he's gonna troll me for something.
No, I will say that the whole guitar like metaphor and storyline is consequential though.
Okay.
And I won't say why.
Guitar Hero.
It becomes Guitar Hero.
Becomes Guitar Hero. I think it's just a great message into like an additional message into the game of take those moments to stop and just really take inventory of what you have in a post-apocalyptic world. This quiet moment here, and especially this scene, this quiet moment here with the people that you're surviving with.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's really that message that I enjoyed in this section. So.
Yeah. It's interesting to me. I didn't know that Ashley Johnson, the voice actor and mocap actor for Ellie, played guitar, but Neil Druckmann also plays guitar. I've seen some like behind the scenes where he's like at the cafeteria table at Naughty Dog, just like strumming and playing guitar with everybody around him.
I didn't put the news article up for this one, but Neil Druckmann has been promoted to co-president of Naughty Dog as well. So congratulations to him.
Congrats. And a lot of people have stepped up. He said in his release that he's still going to be involved in the games directly and that he's going to make sure that, you know, he's mentoring the new people that are taking his old role.
Right.
Because I think they've expanded.
He's a public figure for Naughty Dog, right?
Yeah.
In the same way that we just talked about Casey Hudson and others of their respective video game companies. In my mind, you do need that sort of public figurehead to showcase the games that you're launching.
Right.
The same goes for Bethesda and Todd Howard and the PR one. I forgot his name, but I can see his face. But
Mm-hmm.
you know, they've been working at Bethesda their entire careers, and they're the ones when you associate Elder Scrolls or any other franchise from Bethesda, you associate that with Todd Howard.
Well, much the same way like with Reggie Fils-Aime. Now it's Bowser. I can't remember. His first name.
Fils-Aime, Bowser.
Did I just completely like butcher his name? Is it Fils-Aime?
I thought it was, or Fiam. I don't remember.
Okay, chat. How do you pronounce Reggie's name that used to work at Nintendo?
Reggie.
If it's Fils-Aime, then like awesome. I don't speak French.
Me neither. FIFA. Katie, no. Not
Reggie, we're sorry if you're watching. We're sorry.
Reggie FIFA May. He's going to be at the Game Awards. Is
he really?
Yeah,
is he like in any? He's retired though, right? Like he's not working for any companies right now.
Yeah, he announced. I don't remember what he announced he was working on, but he's out of Nintendo right now. He is.
Why did I ask chat how to pronounce that? Because we're not getting any actual like answers.
This is one of those. This is one of those memes where you're like, it's not this, it's this, and then it's just wrong.
I was literally pronouncing it the way that I would read it. Fils-Aime, Mystic. Okay, thank you. Fils-Aime. So you're right. I was wrong. I've always read it as Phil's aim because like
Phil's name.
That's how it's pronounced.
Phil's aim better be good.
Oh my Jesus. Goodbye. Yeah. Sorry to derail us on that, but now I'm corrected.
Yeah. So that's what we got. You're going to be streaming today.
Yeah. So
What are you streaming today?
tonight is Mama and me, Mama Panic and I are playing through
Mama and Me.
Mama
You
and
need
Me.
you need a name for Sundays.
Yeah. I usually everybody knows that Mama Panic's there on Sundays, but we're playing
Right.
through Sherlock Holmes, the Devil's Daughter, which is the sequel to Crimes and Punishment, the first in this series. It's old world Sherlock. It's like from the 1800s. And this one is, I think, a lot better, but the mysteries are so much longer. We played until 1:00 in the morning Eastern last Sunday because we wanted to get through the second mystery. It's good though. It's really good. Like, the writing is a lot better in this one. Watson isn't quite the pile of turd that he was in the first one. Yeah, there's a lot more like puzzles in this one than there were in the first one. It's not specifically like conversation based as anymore. Yeah, it's a really, really good time. We enjoy when people come in and speculate and try to solve the mysteries with us. I'm very much like a backseat gaming encourager on my channel. I don't do it on others because a lot of people don't like that, but I like to have a collaborative experience with these kinds of games.
Yeah, and it seemed too that you both were having a really good time with that game. So I'm excited to see what mysteries you'll uncover this evening too.
Yeah.
For me, I'll be back Monday, Wednesday, and then we're having a special viewing of the Game Awards on Thursday. So my time is 3:30 p.m. Pacific. So we'll do a pre-show of that, and then the Game Awards start at 4 p.m. Pacific or 7 p.m. Eastern, and it will run for 4 hours. So get ready for that. I'm thinking of doing Stream Raiders as well, like during commercial breaks. I don't know if I'll set that up. Snoop Juice will be enabled, so we'll be having some drinky drinks as we go through. I implemented a drinking game with it. I don't actually know if I'm going to follow it, but it's like drink every time there's a technical difficulty.
Oh no! So, on your stream or on the Game Awards?
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm not going to like advertise that part of it, but if you're going to watch with me on our viewing party on twitch.tv/PittInjury, please make sure you have your predictions ready as well. Let's try and get some points or something going because I have my Game Award predictions. Maybe like 1 point for every award you get right or something. I don't know how that's.
What do you win though?
What do you win? We'll get it solidified on Thursday. But
we'll figure it out the day of.
Oh, absolutely.
That's how this goes.
As we normally do. Streams with Mama Panic could be Family Panic Room.
That's an idea.
I think
that's an idea.
That's a good example. That's a good idea, Jake. But yeah, I think is that it for us?
That's it for me. Yeah, we've covered all of the bases that we wanted to, I think.
Yeah. And in the right amount of time too. We basically got it to an hour.
If you have anything that you'd like to ask us, be it a question, be it a comment, where can they email us?
Oh, you're asking me.
Yeah, because I don't remember this stuff.
I was like, take it away. I'm going to take a drink. Oh, he's asking a question. Okay, hold on. You can email us at splitsqueenpodcast@gmail.com. For those of you in chat, thank you so much for being in chat, hanging out with us live on twitch.tv/splitsqueen. If you didn't get a chance to catch us live, 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern, we do put up the VODs on YouTube as well. So go ahead and search SplitsQueen on YouTube for that. We are here every week, Sunday, like I said, those times. Panic is on twitch.tv/FullOnPanic on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. And then I'm on twitch.tv/PittInjury on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. You can catch Panic on Twitter at FullOnPanic1. And then I am at PittInjury, PittInjury on Twitter as well, to be up to date on all of our streaming adventures. I think that's everything.
I think you did a really good job today, and you should be proud of yourself.
Thank you. You as well. I look forward. Sunday is the day that I look forward to the most out of the week because of this podcast. Yeah.
Aww.
I did stay up till 2 last night, and I was like, oh shit.
Oh
Like,
shit.
I need to go to bed.
Oh, I need an Adderall. No.
Yeah, so, but there's that. But yeah, I always thank you again. Thank you everyone in chat for being so interactive with us as well. I know we don't always get a chance to read every comment on live on the podcast, but we appreciate all the input that we have. So yeah, and thank you, Panic. Thank you,
Pitt.
Yeah, helping set this up and just being a great host as well. And I appreciate all your opinions.
I think now that we have green screens, we could probably do away with the boxes and just be like, bam, next to each other at a desk situation.
Really need to color correct because you have such natural lighting and I have white.
It's my beautiful flawless skin. I'm only at 29.
It is. Also that. And you're only 29 and you've been playing guitar for 30 years.
It's amazing. In the womb, my mom was like, what's going on down there?
And why is there a guitar?
What? I see the head stock. I see the head stock coming out. No.
Okay, so all the things that I said pale in comparison to that, okay? This is off the rails very quickly.
We know I'm not that tan. Oh my God, Bobby. Read me to filth. Okay, well, that's where we're done.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Talk to you later.
By this time next week, we'll have Cyberpunk 2077.
That's true. Holy crap.
A whole new world. That's it.
That's it.
You're
that's
like,
that's the tweet. Bye.
Bye.
You're the